All right. So, hi, everybody. So, I'm Allie. Nice to meet you all. Some of you I know, and some of you I don't know. But I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the oily pet. And I'm not going to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any disease. You know we can't do that. I don't do that. I'm not a veterinarian. I am an animal protection attorney. So I have been actually 26 years now in the field of criminal prosecution. Spent part of my career in the courtroom and have spent part of my career teaching and educating prosecutors, not only throughout the United States, but internationally, and teaching in my specialties, which involve animal abuse, investigating and prosecuting, and how it links to domestic violence and child abuse. So I was a prosecutor here in Lansing for many years. I went out to the Washington, D.C. area for about 12 years, where I worked nationally and set up the National Center for Prosecution of Animal Abuse. I was a lobbyist, which was the most horrific job. Because I was lobbying on behalf of animals and children, and you think legislators would like that? No, it was quite shocking. It was quite shocking. It was really hard to do anything. But I moved back here to Michigan 6 years ago to get out of the fray of DC and formalized a program that I had thought up 20 years ago. And the program is now a nonprofit called Sheltering Animals and Families Together. And I help domestic violence shelters to create on-site pet housing. And it's kind of the first of its kind for this organization. And I have about 300 shelters worldwide that are doing this now. So on top of all of that, that's kind of how I focus my legal work. I am also the owner of my wellness business, which just celebrated its 10th anniversary on Saturday. I mean, that's crazy. I created Manifested Harmony when I was still a 70+ hour attorney in DC. It's like, what was I thinking? Like, did I not have enough on my plate? But what's interesting is it led me to Young Living, because I had never heard of Young Living. So anyway, in my wellness business, I am certified as a energy healer master teacher in 3 different energy modalities. And I have published a lot of books, a lot of publications. I've done a lot of animal shelter work and a lot of advocacy work. And I have been invited 4 times, I've lost track, by Young Living Corporate to speak about oils and pets. And I really hope someday they bring back their Animals and Oils Conference in Utah, because it was phenomenal. It was really, I mean, the speakers were amazing. So that's just a little bit about me. And these are my oily cats. So I am a cat person. I understand cats. I am a cat. My name is Allie. I'm a Leo. When I get mad, I hiss and I arch my back. So I truly am a cat in a human's body. But I work with all sorts of animals: dogs, donkeys, horses, goats, potbelly pigs, reptiles. I mean, you name it. I help all sorts of animals. But my cats have been amazing teachers for me. So I wrote a book called The Oily Pet. And if you don't have it, and if you're really curious or even a little nervous about how to use oils with pets, I make it really super simple in this book. This is an easy read, because this can feel like a very complicated topic, and I didn't want it to be. So I wrote a book about safe essential oil methods. I'm focusing primarily on cats and dogs in the book. And I don't mention Young Living by name, because as an attorney, I respect their trademark. But you will know that I'm talking about Young Living in the book. So I also wrote it to help you teach a class from it. And, you know, I wrote this book because, you know, I'm a big team Young Living person. And I feel strongly about sharing this information with everybody in Young Living because I want as many people in Young Living who love their pets to become proficient in oils for pets, because Young Living has been and needs to continue to be the go-to animal company when it comes to essential oils. And, you know, so this book is going to give you proficiency in how to use the oils. It's going to give you confidence. I give you my hands-on experience and all of the experimenting I did, you know, on my cats and all the shelter pets I've worked with. It's a great gift. You can give it to your ER members. You can gift it to new members who love their pets, but you can teach a class from it. And that's what I really wanted people to do, was to just take it and teach a class from it. And if you want to grab the book, just put the coupon code ZOOM in and you'll get 10% off the book. And if you want to get the bundle, you'll get 10% off. So I like to offer that for anybody who likes to listen to this information. So I get some really interesting questions when it comes to oils and pets. I also get tagged in a lot of posts about oils and pets. And the one question that I get the most is, why do I only recommend Young Living? Why Young Living? Because before I joined Young Living 8 years ago, I used all the different brands. The cheaper, the better. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm just going to make a confession. I'm just going to put it out there. I did not know anything. And for 15 years, in all the metaphysical stores and, you know, in the drug stores, all the oils, there was no education. I had no idea what they did. They never did anything. And I'm so thankful that I never used them with my cats or around my cats. I frankly don't know why I kept buying them, because I didn't really use them. And when I did, they didn't do anything. But I only recommend Young Living, and I actually give you a test in the book. But here is the biggest hint that I can give you. When you go to other essential oil websites, in the search bar, put in the word pet, put in the word animal. You're not going to find anything. There's another company that is just starting to be a little more vocal about animals because they like to copy everything that we do. I shall not mention that company. But here's the thing, Young Living from the beginning talked about animals, created products for animals. The Animal Sense ointment was one of the first products that Gary created, because Gary Young was a horse guy. He loved his horses. And if you've ever been to the Mona, Utah farm, there are hundreds of horses on that farm. In the back of the farm, he has rescued circus animals. I was stunned when I heard that, but I wasn't surprised. That man loved animals. And so when I look at that, this isn't a fad where Young Living thought, oh, you know, people really love their pets, maybe we should do something. No, this is the heart of Young Living, because Gary loved animals. Other companies are starting to get on the bandwagon because they see how Young Living has dominated the essential oils for animals, you know, world. We have really dominated it. So I always look to other companies. Do they mention animals on their website? Do they have a blog? You know, do they have products for animals? And the answer is no, 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 across the board, except for Young Living. And so that's one reason why I recommend Young Living, because I know that they will have our back should there ever be a problem. I've never had a problem using the oils with animals, But because they put their name behind it, as an attorney, I'm always thinking liability, and that is huge. That is huge. But the second thing is seed to seal. It is not just a tagline. It is exactly what makes our oils safe for animals, especially cats, because we grow the right way, we harvest the right way, we fully distill. And why that is important is it allows for the balancing of all the constituents, all the parts and pieces that are coming out in the distillation process, because an oil will self-regulate if all the constituents, all the parts and pieces are in it. That is why we can use Young Living citrus oils and even tea tree oils and be safe with our pets, but other brands, those oils can harm or even kill an animal. There's always a lot of stuff on the internet about, well, tea tree will kill a cat. Absolutely, unless it's Young Living. And if you look at some of the animal scents products specifically labeled for animals, you're going to find tea tree in there. In fact, the animal scents ointment has tea tree in it. And I even asked Gary about that at one of the animal conferences, and he laughed. And he said, Allie, if animals were dropping dead from our oils, especially from tea tree and our animal scents line, you know that there's another company out there that would go public with it. And I'm like, he's right. So it's how we do the whole process from start to finish that makes us different, that other companies, they don't do this. But then I also look at the labels of other companies. And when I see things like, don't ingest this oil, don't use it with babies, don't put it on your skin, they're actually telling you something. They're telling you something else is in the bottle. And so don't use them with pets. But I just always come back to, what does the company say? Because you would never use Metamucil with a newborn baby, right? You just wouldn't. You go to the Metamucil website, they don't talk about newborn babies. So you wouldn't use their product in that way. So we shouldn't use essential oils from a company that doesn't talk about using their oils with animals. It's a lot of common sense, but I think sometimes we live in a world where there's just not a heck of a lot of common sense, right? So that's one of the big questions that I get. The second question is, are the oils going to kill my cat? Okay, here's why people are nervous about oils in cats, especially veterinarians. And realize veterinarians are not trained in essential oils unless they initiate the training. They don't know, but they will make some broad statements that you can't use essential oils with pets. If they say that to you, ask them what their education is about essential oils, because they probably don't have it. Here's the concern about cats. Cats are deficient. They're not missing. They're deficient in, it's called the cytochrome P450 liver metabolism pathway. What is that? That helps the cat's liver to metabolize and excrete compounds like medication, toxins, and essential oils. It's what flushes it out of their system. And it's unique to felines. Dogs don't have this deficient pathway. Humans don't have the deficient pathway, but cats do. And it's why people get nervous about cats and oils. And there are people who are experts in the animal care industry who say you cannot use oils with a cat or even around a cat. Well, they're making a broad statement and they're flat wrong. We can't make broad statements about anything in life, right? Young Living oils are safe. And here's the thing. So there was this study that was done back in 2017 that actually looked at how cats excrete essential oils out of their system. And they actually found that they excrete differently. That's actually more in line with how a plant excretes the oils. Yes, plants actually excrete essential oils out of their system. They do. It's interesting. So when I read that cats do it differently, it's like, well, of course they do, because they're cats. Cats have to be different. I mean, that's just what they're like. So what it is that they have a slower elimination system. And so it can result in buildup in their liver. Now, we give our cats medication and it passes through their liver. Cats have been surrounded by toxins. I mean, I think back in the day of all the candles that I burned and all of the plugins that I used. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm still alive. But here's the thing, cats are surrounded by toxins and they still excrete it out of their system. But all it takes is one scary story to go around on Facebook and everybody is freaking out and making blanket statements. And here's what I really need you to understand about those. We don't know the prior health of the pet. We don't know the age of the pet. We don't know what toxins were in the home that pet has been exposed to for their whole life. We don't know what brand of essential oil they use. They never tell the brand. Have you noticed that? They never tell the brand. We don't even know how the oil was used. I mean, they could have done everything wrong, but sometimes I don't even know if these stories are true. So with cats, just start slow. If it's really strong for you, it's really going to be strong for them. So when you're diffusing, don't put 10 to 15 drops in your diffuser. I mean, if you've got the desert mist or the dewdrop, 3 to 4 drops. That's it. That's all you need. And allow them to leave. You know, if they don't like it, they'll leave the room and they'll tell you if it's too strong. And for cats and dogs under 25 pounds, dilute it in a carrier oil before you topically apply. Okay? My cats for 8 years have been exposed to the diffusing of essential oils, and I diffuse citrus oils almost every day. So even when I hear some Young Living leaders saying you can't use citrus oils around cats, I totally disagree. I absolutely disagree, because our processing is different. So I've diffused around my cats. My cats drink Ningxia Red every day. I topically apply. I mean, I do a cat safe raindrop on them once a week. And I love to put frankincense and copaiba down their spine. I do it diluted. And every time I take them in to their veterinarian to get their liver values tested, because that's the hot spot in cats, the veterinarian is so confused, because as they age, their liver values should become imbalanced. But in fact, their liver values get better as they age. And she just looks at me and she's like, I know what you're doing and I just don't get it. And she's not ready to hear it. And I'm like, you know what? That's okay. When you're ready to have a conversation, we'll talk. But in the meantime, you can't deny the lab results. So Young Living oils will not kill your cat. Now, I do get questions like, is it safe to use sage with your cat? I always come back with, why would you want to use sage? I mean, that's a very unusual oil. Why would you want to use it with your cat? Maybe we can find a gentler oil, because sage is a hot oil. Maybe we can find a gentler oil. So I love it that Young Living gives us so many options. So don't be hesitant, but start slow and go light with cats. Now, I also get questions, what oils are safe to use with pets? Be very gentle with the oils that are high in phenols. So phenols are what give the oils, you know, their scent, their strong scent. And so the hot oils not only are hot topically on the skin, but are high in phenols. So, you know, thieves oil, high in phenols, oregano, mountain savory, you know, tarragon, tea tree, pine, citrus oils. But I use these. You know, I diffuse citrus oils. I diffuse thieves. I put a diluted raindrop down their spine that has oregano in it and it has thyme in it. So just be cautious and go light with them because these are very strong smelling oils. Now, another question that I get, and I get this almost every day, where people say, my pet is sick, what oils do I use? None of us, not even veterinarians in Young Living, can use the oils to diagnose or treat. But what we can do is we can help people keep their pets healthy. We promote health. That's what we do. And we just need to be proactive, not reactive. When we're proactive with the oils, we can talk all day long. But when we're reactive, we are diagnosing and treating. So, you know, in the Oily Pet book, I go through all the things to think about before you even get to oils, like what are you feeding your pet? You know, this may not make me a lot of friends right now, but pets are not intended to eat hard food, especially cats. And a lot of people think hard food is good because it's cleaning their teeth. Cats actually don't chew hard food. They inhale it. They don't chew it, so it doesn't clean their teeth. And it's not anything natural in the wild that they would eat. So always start with diet. Look at your household toxins. Look at stressors in the home because pets will take on our stress. You know, when I'm contacted by somebody who has an anxious pet, I usually find an anxious person. So that's easy. I can just say, here, smell this oil. And it's working on them while I work on their pet. So, you know, the oils can only do so much if there's, you know, really poor quality food being offered. And if candles are still being burned in the home and toxic cleaners are being used and there's, you know, just chaos all the time and stress all the time. So I like to help people understand that, and then let's start bringing in the oils. And look to how you use the oils for you and your family, because that's how you can use them with your pet. They have all the same feelings and emotions that we do and the same physical makeup. So what do you use Panaway for? You know, a big dog, you know, who's kind of struggling in the hip might benefit from Panaway. If you have digestive issues, you know, what do you go to? You can do that with your pet too. So how do I use oils with my pets and with my pet clients? So just like we use them, aromatically, you know, just remember if it's strong for you, it's really strong for them because they have a heightened sense of smell. They have more olfactory receptors than we do. So make sure that they can come and go from a room that has a diffuser. You know, diffuse in your car. I diffuse when I take my cats to the vet. You know, I was diffusing the whole time when I was moving from Virginia back here to Michigan. You know, get a car diffuser. That works great. They can also smell directly from the bottle. That's how I like to get consent from an animal, because I never force an oil on an animal. I open up the bottle, I go halfway, and I wait for them to come the other half of the way to smell it. So aromatically, that's how I get consent. You can also put oils on surfaces. So on cages, crates, on toys, on blankets, never on a collar, because they can't get away from it. And if they don't like it, it's like hanging, you know, a necklace, you know, diffuser necklace around you that has the worst smelling oil for you, and you can't get it off. So never on a collar, it's not needed. Topically, so I already mentioned that the dilution rates, you know, and I go in greater detail in the Oily Pet book, but in general, pets under 25 pounds, I do about 8 to 9 drops of a carrier oil to 1 drop of an essential oil. Now with a carrier oil, please make sure it's an organic, cold pressed carrier oil, because carrier oils can be as adulterated as essential oils. Young Living's V6 oil is perfect. I mean, it is absolutely perfect to use with animals. Now for animals that are over 25 pounds, you can do 1 drop neat. Here's the thing. Put the oils down the spine. That's all you have to do. Never around the face, never in the ears, and not on the paws. Here's why. You may have heard this. I'll never forget when I heard this, that when we put 1 drop of an oil on our body, it saturates our cells 40,000 times over. That's 1 drop. It's even more so for animals. You just need to get a drop on their body and it's going to saturate. So if your cat or dog has something going on with their mouth, you don't need to put the oils in there, just put it on their spine. And when you put it down the spine, you don't need to get it on the skin. If it touches the hair or the fur, it's going to go into the body because hair and fur act like a wick and it's just going to soak into the body. So don't feel like you got to separate the hair, you know, and get it on the skin, kind of like you do those commercial flea treatments. You don't have to do that. Just rub it right down their spine. It's super easy. And it just makes it really easy for them. And then internally, if you're really good at pilling an animal, you can put drops in a veggie capsule and you can pill your dog or your cat. I am not skilled in that. I'm not going to do that. I simply give my cats Ningxia Red. In their wet food, I put a few drops, I run some water over it. They've been eating that for years. You can even give many of the supplements you can break open and sprinkle on food. I have a lot of my team who have dogs. They're putting Agiles in the food or multigreens or omega Jis. These are all very, very beneficial for animals, even sulfurzyme. But please don't put oils in a bowl of water because it's just going to sit like a glob on the top and it's going to deter the pet from drinking water, and we don't want that. We need them to drink water. And here, I want to show you a video on how an animal will give you consent to using an oil. So this is my kitty Jacob. He passed away a couple of years ago. I adopted him later in life, but gosh, he was such a good oily cat. So, oh, I think I need to, actually, I don't think I have any video on this or on any audio, so I'll just play it. Oh, my computer just froze on me. Oh, here we go. Huh. There we go. So that was geranium. See how he came to it? Look at his nose and watch his eyes. I'm about a foot away from him. So that was consent. He came to it twice and he didn't leave. Here's Helichrysum. And I don't put it in their face. I'm about 12 inches away. Sometimes I start 18 inches away. Look at his eyes and nose. It's too strong. He did not come to it. He's just kind of pleading with me with his eyes. He's like, Mama, get that smelly oil out of my face. Here's Melissa. I love this oil with pets. It's really good for highly sensitive pets. Yeah, he came to it, but it was just too strong. So you look for those subtle signs of consent. He's just being stoic now. He's like, nope, I'm not going for it. So that's what I look for. I open up the bottle. I go halfway. I wait for them to come the other half of the way. And this one here, I think I need to, hold on, I got to do something with my, I forgot to click a button before I started sharing. So hold on, because I really want you to hear this. I got to just click a button so that you can. So that you can hear it. Here we go. Share sound. All right, hopefully you can hear this. Okay. You want to smell? You've been very agitated. You've been very agitated. Well, that seems to be working better than the peace and calming. Mm-hmm. You're okay. So that was a shelter cat who was beating up other cats in the community room. And it only took about a minute between when he was growling and, I mean, even kind of started coming after me. The peace and calming wasn't enough for him. I pulled out the valor, and that he just needed confidence and courage around the other cats, and he totally chilled out. And then this, I don't know if you remember it was like fall of 2019 when Hurricane Dorian basically destroyed the Bahamas. The Humane Society of the Bahamas shipped 130 dogs here to Michigan. They emptied their shelter and they got all the animals. They call us the mainland. So they got all the animals out of the shelter to the mainland. 13 of the dogs ended up here in Lansing, and this dog, we called her Bahama Bessie, was not doing good. She just shook constantly. She couldn't eat. She couldn't keep any food down. She was absolutely terrified. When I first met her, she ran and jumped and was just clinging to me and shaking so badly. So I immediately pulled out the big guns, valerian and vetiver. Usually I work with peace and calming and valor, but I needed her to seriously chill out. And after a couple of minutes of smelling that, I did get some valor on her. I got some digize on her. And within a couple of minutes, she was sleeping so soundly, we couldn't wake her up. So this is why I love doing shelter work and working with animals who otherwise wouldn't have a good outcome. The oils can really help tremendously. And so this, if you want to take a snapshot of this, please do, because in the Oily Pet book, I don't mention any blends because the blends are trademarked. And I respect Young Living's trademark, so I'm not going to mention their blends, but here I can mention their blends. So, feel free to take a snapshot of these, but I mean, you'll see, I use the oils with pets the way I would use them for me. I want to keep the air fresh and healthy. Lemon, purification, thieves. How I use oils for calming, I do the same thing for animals. I want people to get along. you know, lavender, acceptance, harmony. Same thing with animals. You know, if a pet is a little mopey, a little depressed, a little sad, you know, maybe a child has moved away to college, or, you know, a family member or a pet passed away. Same way that I use oils, frankincense, inner child, joy, release. I use those with animals. You know, they just need to smell them like we do, and it really helps them. I do a lot of work with abused and neglected animals, and Melissa is one of my favorites. It is really good for highly sensitive pets. For skin and fur, I mean, we've got the animal sense line, we've got the shampoo and the ointment, we have Infectaway and Mendwell. These work amazing. You know, so all the ways that we are using the oils, we can use them with pets. And what do my cats get weekly? They get Ningxia Red 3 to 5 times a week. I love a blend of frankincense and copaiba. That is my senior pet blend that I topically put down the spine. And it's also the blend to just proactively stay well. That's what I like. And then Stella, my Torby that you see in the box there, she's a full-figured girl, and her little kneecaps kind of take a bruising because she likes to jump all over the place. So she gets Agiles. It takes me 1 week to go through a capsule because I sprinkle just a little bit in her food. Oh, that's an old slide. So anyway, if you have any questions, I'm happy to take questions at this point. So here, I'm going to stop the share and just happy to answer any questions. But I hope that gave you just a little bit of information and helps you feel a little more comfortable about using oils with pets.
Thank you, Allie. That was an amazing presentation. It always is. Every time you present, I learn more and more things. So if anybody has a question, just go ahead and unmute yourself and go ahead, or you could type it in the comments, whatever you prefer. But we'll take a few minutes for questions.
Okay. You know, I want to find this on my computer because I forgot to add this to my presentation. I want to show you all. Well, it's actually, I probably shouldn't show it. It's kind of a disturbing photo. A couple months ago, I was fostering a cat. She was a burn victim. It wasn't intentional. She got into an engine. Her entire head was burned. And I fostered her for 2.5 months. And the veterinarians were stunned at how quickly she healed. And her fur came back and is still coming back. One of my friends adopted her, and it's amazing, her recovery. And I just used a blend of lavender, myrrh, and helichrysum and put it in a carrier oil and topically applied it, you know, on the burn areas. And it was really, really amazing of how well she looked. So actually, I found a picture where it was on the day that she got adopted. And I mean, it was scabby and really bad when I took her into foster care. And you can see, I mean, she had like this mohawk of hair growing back. And so there's some really amazing things that our oils can do to really help pets. And I hope no pet ever gets burned, but you know, stuff happens. So yeah. So wow. Let's see. All right, I'm going into the chat to check for questions here. Yeah, Robin, I talked about soft food. Your cats won't eat soft food. So crazy. You know, I had a cat do the same thing, and I was able to easily switch him to a food that looks like hard food, but it's actually lightly steamed. And maybe he's the stupidest cat on the planet and he didn't realize it. It's called Fresh Pet. It's in the refrigerated section everywhere. I mean, it's at pet food stores, it's at grocery stores, but it's like a round kibble. It looks just like hard food, but it's not even fully cooked. It's not raw. It's lightly steamed. Oh my gosh, he just ate it up.
It was
So-
interesting, even when she was a kitten, that's when I would always give them soft food anyway as a kitten. Just turned her nose up at it. She's not even like, she doesn't even meow like tuna fish like a normal cat. It's just very particular. Very
Wow.
weird. So it's called Fresh
Fresh Pet.
Pet. Okay, I'll look for it. Thank you.
Yeah. It comes in a bag. It comes in a bag and it's in the refrigerated section. You know, they have it at PetSmart and Petco. They have it in grocery stores. They sell it at Whole Foods and Meijer. And I mean, it's like all over the place. You can find it.
Thank you.
Yeah, maybe give that a try. Let's see, we have a question here. A fatty cyst. So I can't really talk about oils to deal with medical conditions. You know, a lot of animals have fatty cysts. They're not a big deal. I had a cat that had one. She had it right on her back. It was like she had a backpack. She hoarded everything. So she just put it in, I called it her little backpack. But I would put frankincense and copaiba on it because I wanted to make sure that it stayed healthy and it didn't turn into anything. So, you know, but fatty cysts are really, you know, nothing to be concerned about as long as it's not uncomfortable. Let's see, question. What type of raw food is best instead of store-bought? Well, if you can make your own raw food, that's the best way to go. That's the best way to go. There's tons of recipes online. You can find a lot of recipes. Let's see. How do you convince cat owners that oils are not harmful? Give them the Oily Pet book. So when I wrote the Oily Pet book, I didn't put Young Living's name in it because I didn't want anybody to just kind of get their feathers in an uproar and think that, you know, we're just trying to sell to them. It is a generic book. The test in it is clear that I'm talking about Young Living. And so you can hand them the book and say, here, read this. Like, this is from an animal attorney. You know, I'm pretty strict on what I will say and what I teach. Give her the book and let her read. And then when she comes back with questions, if you don't feel comfortable answering them, just message me and I'll help you. But usually the book puts an end to the questions. Let's see, Kelly, you were just at the vet, 65-pound dog, re-diagnosed with cancer. Tumor invaded arm bone, caused it to break. Oh, he's been gimping around. What can help with his wellness? Ningxia red, frankincense, copaiba. Even the 3 Wiseman oil have 3 very powerful oils in it, myrrh, sandalwood, and frankincense. That's kind of like the triple, and then I would add copaiba to it.
I just remembered something when you're ready.
But yeah, so Ningxia red, frankincense, copaiba. If you can add sandalwood and myrrh to it, that would be amazing. Though, I mean, those are just such amazing, like, life-giving oils. So, oh, I hope he's going to be okay. I mean, the nice thing about cancer treatment for animals, it is so much better than cancer treatment for people. Oh my gosh, it is. They're so far advanced with animals. I hope he's going to be okay. If you need to amputate, what can facilitate healing? Well, I guess the question is, what would you do? What would you do for yourself for the healing? I will never forget when Gary said helichrysum equals healing. I've never forgotten that. Laura, I don't know if you ever heard him say that. He had these cool like things to help us remember, like marjoram equals muscles, helichrysum equals healing. He said fun stuff like that I never forgot. So yeah, Kelly, helichrysum is amazing. That's a good one. All right. Any other questions?
Can I make a comment, Allie?
Absolutely.
I just want to add to anybody else that's listening, just to reiterate everything Allie's saying. I've been using essential oils, Young Living oils, for 13 years, and I diffuse every day from the minute I get up till the night time I go to bed at night. So I refill my diffuser like twice a day, easy, because it runs all day long. And I do I'm a little crazier than you. I do about 20 drops of essential oil in each refill of water. And that diffuser covers the whole first floor of my condo. But I do have a cat, and he is 25 years old, and he's been oiling for 13 years, as long as I have been.
Wow.
And what you said, though, if you're going to do a different oil, like what I got today, I actually started diffusing Chutron. So I'm like, I just love the smell of Chutron. I'm going to put some in the diffuser. And that cat went and laid under the diffuser. He likes the Chutron also.
Yeah.
So let your cat have the opportunity to walk into another room. Do not close them in a small room with a diffuser and force them to breathe it. Turn it on wherever you're sitting comfortably in your living room or your bedroom, and let them come and go as they please, because they know what they need and what they like. But yes, 13 years he's been an oiler, and Young Living oils do not hurt your cats.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say that you're not the only one that's a cat oiler.
Marlene, I got to meet your cat. I've got to meet this 25-year-old cat. I love that.
Go get him, Marlene.
Go
Get Dallas.
I'll go get Dallas. Okay, Allie, do you remember I was talking to at the event? He's the one I bought him an amethyst rock to lay on. He's sleeping on his rock. So I'll go get him and bring them so you can see him. Okay, I'm going to mute you for a minute till I go get him.
Yay. Yay.
Wow, great questions tonight. And I just love this class. So thank you so much. I'm excited to see this cat.
I know. I mean, I had a cat live to almost 20.
Wow.
And she was in kidney failure the last 3 years of her life. And the veterinarian could not understand why she was doing so well. And I just kept saying, you know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You just can't handle the truth.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So
Our oils fly in the face of everything that they have been told. And they can't explain it. Veterinarians have such a hard time understanding why our tea tree is safe, but an organic tea tree from another company at the health food store is going to harm an animal. It's so hard to explain it to them. It's like, you just got to come to the farm and you got to see what we do. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Okay, he's saying hi to you. He's meowing.
I love your kitty.
Yeah.
He looks awesome.
Yes. For 25 years. Wow.
He's in good shape. He's an oiler. Yeah, hello.
Oh my gosh, Dallas, you are super handsome.
Hello. Thank you. Go ahead, Bob.
Thank you for sharing. That's awesome.
Oh
yeah. He's going to go back to sleep because I disturbed him. I took him off his amethyst.
Wow. And, for those of you who are on the class and maybe you don't have a cat, but you have dogs, we have dogs at our house, and we've had dogs off and on the whole time I've been a member of Young Living. So 8.5 years we've used Thieves household cleaner. I put some peppermint in there, and I'll spray it every time before they eat their food to work towards, just when they're outdoors, you just want a good prevention, right? You don't want, so that's a good one for outdoor prevention. Let's see. I actually Zytoscan I've Zytoscanned cats. I've Zytoscanned dogs, and I love it. It tells exactly what they need. One of our dogs passed away in the fall, and I Zytoscanned him right before he was passing, and it just showed what he needed so he could just pass peacefully. A lot of ortho Sport or Ease, one of those for the pain, you know, all different kinds of things. And I just kept putting it on him, putting it on him. And then he just, you know, passed away in his sleep overnight. So it's just like things like that, that we've used all the oils for and different things that the dogs need. Oh, and supplements. I love to use sulfurzyme for my dogs. Whatever the Zytoscan said, I just gave it to them. But sulfurzyme was a big one for this particular one who passed. And it was a different one. Oh, alkaline, you know, different. I've used all the supplements too. So, yeah.
Laura, how do you use your hand? Just on their belly?
Yeah, so how I do it is you have to have a person with their hand on the cradle, and then their other hand is on their animal. And then it's their frequency from touching the cat or the dog that's going through the cradle.
So I've just never tried the surrogate thing. So
Yeah.
interesting.
It's really cool. Yeah.
So I wonder, so I found a way, I have the Itovi, and I found a way to use the Itovi. I wonder if it would work on the Zyto, where the two prongs that are on the Itovi, I actually put a wet Kleenex over the Itovi and I touch that to my cats. I can put it like right on their back, so it's touching the fur, and it's that transfer between the wet Kleenex or paper towel that allows the prongs to touch.
Nice.
And
that's awesome.
And it works. It's the craziest thing, but it absolutely works. Yeah, I love to scan, and yeah.
That's good. I tried the paper towel or the wet part with the hand cradle on the pet, but the dogs, they just don't hold still and they take off. So I just found for me, well, and I've only scanned maybe 1 or 2 cats, but I've done more dogs than anything, but that's just the best way that I have found. Yeah. So, but that's interesting too with the Itovi, because a lot of people have that. So thanks for sharing that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just however we are using them, our pets can benefit. And that's, you know, don't be nervous. They will tell you if they don't want an oil. I mean, just like us, you know, there's one oil that Young Living has that is so offensive to me. I know I need it, but it is so offensive to me. It's like, okay, I'm gonna steer clear of it for now. And I let my cats do the same thing. Because sometimes I'll concoct a blend and they all vacate the room, and it's like, okay, that was not a good blend. I need to go back to the drawing board. So just watch what they do, but you're not going to hurt them with any Young Living product. Gary wouldn't create anything that would harm any animal, 2-legged or 4-legged. So.
He loved his animals. I mean,
yes, he did.
Loved them. Yeah.
You know, and I'm gonna jump in on that real quick too. Isn't that a wonderful feeling to have that level of trust in a company and a product line? Because number one, I think all of us have met Gary, spent time with Gary. To have that confidence that no matter what oil I pick up and put on in my diffuser on me and then hold the cat or put on the cat, whatever, that we don't have that fear. You know, anything else you worry, you go to the grocery store, should I buy this food? Should I buy that food? Is it going to hurt them? Is it not? What's in the ingredients? Read the labels, make sure everything's good. But with Young Living products, we already know that they're not going to hurt us or our pets. And it's just such a nice, it's a freeing feeling to not have to worry. I love it.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. And keep asking product support to create more products specifically for pets. I mean, I can't even, it was one of the Thieves toothpaste that is totally safe for animals. Was it the Dentronome? I can't even remember which one it was. They were going to discontinue it. All of the animal people, we went berserk on product support, and they're like, okay, we will keep it in stock. They're like, you crazy animal people. It's like,
That's what I
Yes.
love about Young Living. If they're about to do that with any product, or like they hear our voices and they listen to us, just
Yeah.
because something might not sell or sits on their shelf as quickly as other things. And they're like, oh, I guess we're going to discontinue it. We're like, no, but they actually do listen to us. Like we have a voice, and that feels really good.
Yep. Yep.
So
We need that 32-ounce massage oil, Marlene. That big quart pump.
I need it. Why?
We do, like Gary's, that one that I used on you.
Oh, yeah. We need to get that back. That was geared or originally created for horses, was it not?
Yeah, it was never like launched so publicly. It was just at the farm.
Oh, I know. And you're holding a bottle, and I know where you live.
And I got a bottle.
I don't
it's
know.
fun. We're telling secrets
But I
now. I
probably
like
can find
these
out.
secrets.
Yeah.
Allie and Robin are holding the goods, guys.
They are.
Ellie, what's it called? Do you have it within reach? Because I can't.
It's Repel Aroma.
Repel Aroma?
Yeah, Repel Aroma. They made a huge spray bottle of it, and then
Oh
they
no, this is a big pump.
This
Yeah.
is something.
it had a pump on it.
Okay, this is a massage oil.
Yeah, we used it as a massage oil, but it kept the flies off of the horses.
Nice.
Oh,
Oh
interesting.
man, people would love that stuff.
Oh yeah.
So we
yeah,
should
and-
all request Young Living to bring that back for us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've had
Yeah.
members want that.
Oh yeah, and it's been requested. I don't know why they haven't brought it back. Because all of my upline diamonds are horse people, like they own horse farms, and they have been relentless with corporate about bringing it back. And I don't see any of the ingredients that are traditionally out of stock. So I don't know why they haven't brought it back, other than maybe it's just on their to-do list and they haven't gotten to it. But
Wow.
yeah.
All right. Well, it's after 8 o'clock, and I know this is a good cutoff probably. So I think we're good on the questions. So thank you so much. I truly appreciate your time tonight and
Yeah.
just all of it. So
Oh, my pleasure. And yeah, we'll come back in a couple of weeks and talk
Yeah,
about
in
the
June,
oily crystal.
I'm excited for that. Thank you again. So we'll talk
Okay.
to you soon. Okay.
Okay.
Bye, Allie.
Bye, everybody.
Bye,
Allie.
everybody.
Bye-bye.